Hello students, welcome to our online video tutorial class. Already I think you have seen the video whatever I have made on the root system belonging from this specific chapter. So today we will be starting the next system after the root system which is there in this chapter, that is the shoot system. First of all, before starting the shoot system, we need to see whatever the fundamental features or basic features can be found in case of shoot or the stem. First, you can see shoot is exclusively positive phototropic because it is always going to the direction of the sunlight, and it is negative geotropic because the shoot is obviously not going to the direction of the gravitational pull or the center of the earth, and shoot is always containing multiple nodes, and in between the internodes are also present. Always keep it in your mind, the shoot also bears leaves, flowers, buds and fruits, because these specific structures in case of root system obviously they are not present, but in case of shoot system these all structures are present separately. In the shoot system there are two types of buds are also present. One is axillary bud, another one is terminal bud. Keep it in your mind, axillary bud is present actually laterally to the shoot system or stem, because from there actually the branches will arise, and terminal buds are actually present at the terminal position of the shoot or stem, actually which is responsible for increasing the height or the length of the stem. Stem is generally or commonly brown in color if it will be woody, and if it is not woody, on that time it is green in color if it is in the fresh condition present. Now we will be discussing regarding the modification of the stem. Let's see whatever the modifications can be found in case of stem. First of all, we will be discussing about various kinds of underground stem, because these are the various stems which are present under the soil, and they are also showing modification due to food storage. So whatever the modifications can be found for this underground stem, let's see. First one, that is rhizome. Keep it in your mind, this is a kind of stem which is unbranched. It always grow horizontally and it is always bearing scales. Scales means actually I want to say, or we mean to say, scaly leaves. Okay, leaves and nodes, internodes are present, and from nodes roots arises. Okay, so leaves are present, small scaly leaves, with that nodes and internodes are present, and from the nodes the roots are also arising. Keep it in your mind, the example of the rhizome is ginger, what we all know and commonly we can see in our house. If you go for the second underground stem, that is the corm, keep it in your mind, this is not growing like rhizome horizontally, rather it is growing vertically, and more or less the shape is round. Keep it in your mind, they are also stems, so for that reason they are also having nodes and internodes, and scaly leaves are also present in case of this specific underground stem. Example, Amorphophallus, that in Bengali is commonly known as ol, that is actually belonging from this category of corm. If you come to the third specific underground stem category, that is commonly known as bulb, because it is actually looking like a bulb, that's why the name has been given bulb or tunicated bulb. Keep it in your mind, in case of this specific underground stem, fleshy scales are present, and the stems are actually reduced. By seeing the size you can understand, and obviously this is disc shaped. Okay, and always keep it in your mind, if you see the lower portion of the stem, you will see that from there the roots are arising. Okay, and example is exclusively onion. We can see onion and garlic, these are the examples of bulb. Now next and the last underground modified version of the stem is tuber. That is also very much familiar to us because this is more or less rounded shaped. Eyes are present, okay, and those specific eyes are actually called as the nodes. And keep it in your mind, the growing tips of this specific underground stem, that is swollen due to the accumulation of the food, and also the several lenticels are present on the surface of this specific underground stem for gaseous exchange further. An example you all know, the potato is an example of this kind of underground stem. Okay, and this can be also called as tuber. So now let's see the various kinds of underground stem and their modification due to the food storage. You can see the first one, that is the rhizome, and you can see also they are having so many nodes and internodes in a regular interval, and in between the nodes from a specific position the new plant is also arising, and the scaly leaves are actually present also in the nodes regions, and the roots are also arising, adventitious roots are arising from the nodes. So this is actually the modified version of the stem for the food storage, and that is rhizome. If you come to the corm, it is brown in color and it is looking like the base of large tree. And keep it in your mind, they are also having nodes in a specific distance interval, and obviously from the nodes the new plant or the scaly leaves, they are arising. Keep it in your mind, their adventitious roots are also arising from the nodes. Okay, coming to the third underground modified version of the stem, and that is the bulb or the tunicated bulb. Example we all know, that is onion or ginger. We can see they are having fleshy leaves, those are purple in color, and obviously from the lower portion of the stem there is a disc shaped portion, and from that specific disc shaped portion the roots are arising, that is the adventitious roots, and obviously the stem is arising from the upper portion. Okay, and this is also gets swollen due to the modification, due to the storage of the food. And the last one is the tuber category. In the tuber category you can see they are having small node like structures, and those are known as eye buds or eyes of the potato. From here small plant can emerge or erupt. Keep it in your mind, these specific scars are present throughout the entire body of the potato, and also from these specific small eyes the adventitious roots also can arise, but the node internode structures, these are not clear for this specific type of underground modification of the stem, that is the tuber. So this is overall the various categories or various types of the underground stem which has been modified due to the food storage. Now we are coming for the next type of the stem, that is a subaerial type of the stem, and that is also gets modified due to the storage of the cell sap or due to the storage of the internal body fluid. So subaerial modification of the stem is also there, like runner, sucker, stolon and offset. So let's see whatever their structure and what is their function also. First of all, if you see the runner, you can understand that the name is actually given runner because actually the stem is passing through or running through the upper layer of the soil, and commonly they are greenish in color. Keep it in your mind, nodes and internodes all are present in a regular interval. Internode portions are lengthy and roots will arise from the nodes region specifically. As an example, dube grass or oxalis, these are the example of runner. So runner is exclusively the type of the stem which is passing through or running through the ground surface, and that's why their name has been given runner, and they are moving horizontally. Okay, and the stem is obviously prostrate, weak, can't grow erect. Vertically they can't grow. For any one of the subaerial modification, the stem is not growing vertically, rather they are moving horizontally. If you go for the sucker, obviously this is also like a runner, it is also running horizontally through the ground, but not through the ground surface, rather just below the ground, that means underground. And keep it in your mind, when they are present below the ground, obviously for that reason they are non-greenish in color, arising from the obviously horizontal and vertical branches, and it is obviously moving horizontally. Sometimes it is coming obliquely also, or it is growing obliquely also. As an example, chrysanthemum, mentha, banana, pineapple, these of the plants, these are all showing this specific subaerial modification of the stem. Coming to the stolon, stolon is a such kind of the subaerial modification where you can see that there are two plantlets or plant-like bodies are present separately. From the node of one specific plant body, one small stem is arising, and then it is getting connected to the node of another plant body which is present just beside the previous one. And that specific stem which is connecting the nodes in between these two plant bodies, they are exclusively bow shaped. Okay, and that's why this specific type of modification of the stem is, the name has been given, that is stolon. Keep it in your mind, example of this stolon is strawberry, mint, jasmine. These are the common example of the stolon. If you come to the last subaerial modification of the stem, that is the offset. What is offset? Offset is actually the type of modified stem that is shorter and thicker. It is commonly found in case of the aquatic plants, and leaves and stem near the water level and roots under the water level. So leaves, stem, these specific structures of these plants are exclusively helping the plant for floating purpose, and the roots are always present under the water level. Okay, so this is this specific stem is exclusively passing through the water surface, and that is horizontally and containing parenchyma, that is air containing parenchyma. So for that reason, Eichhornia, that is water hyacinth, Pistia, these are the plants, they are all belonging from the offset. Now let's see the figures so we can just understand this kind of modifications very clearly. Runner, you can see these are the dub grass, where the grasses are connected with each other by a small narrow green stem, okay, and this green stem is passing through the upper surface of the soil. So for that reason you will just examine this also. Just when you will pull any small grass, you will be seeing just with that specific single grass, so many other grasses are also coming out from the soil. So this is actually due to the connection in between the grasses by the help of stem, and that special type of the stem, which is the modified version, that is called as runner. If you come to the sucker, here also the plants are connected with the stems, and obviously the plants are erupting or emerging from the node region, and keep it in your mind, this stem is passing just underground, okay. So that's why they are sucker, because they can suck water and minerals from the soil, okay. Next, if you come to the stolon, you can understand that these are the two plants whatever I have told. The nodes, the node of the first plant, from there one specific stem is arising and it is getting connected to the node of the second plant, okay, and it is bow like structure forming. So that's why this specific structure is commonly known as stolon. If you come to the offset, you can understand that this is exclusively found in case of aquatic plant. This is the horizontally located stem which is floating on the water and also helping the plant to float, but the roots are actually hanging downward, and it is exclusively responsible for buoyancy for the plant so that it can float. So this is overall the 4 modifications of the subaerial stem. Now just we are coming to the special modification of the flowering plant stem. So these are actually the modifications which can come in, which can commonly found in case of the stem. Whatever the modifications can be found. First one is that stem tendril. In case of some of the plants, you will see that the leaves are getting modified into tendril. That is the common thing. But in case of some of the plants, it is found that the stem is also getting modified into tendril. Why? Because it is obviously one kind of climbing apparatus by which the plant can climb up any of the support and it will move upward. So that's why this is the stem tendril, and keep it in your mind, this stem tendril is not forming from any part of the stem, specifically from the axillary bud part of the stem that is exclusively responsible for producing the stem tendril. Example, passiflora, cucumber, pumpkin, watermelon, these specific plants, they are showing this specific stem tendril, and obviously this stem tendril is present in their body for climbing purpose. If you go to the stem thorn, you can understand that in case of some of the plants, the stem is modified into thorn, not the entire stem. Obviously the axillary bud portion of the stem, that is getting modified into thorn. Obviously it is present for their protection so that herbivorous animals will not eat them up anytime. So citrus plants, bougainvillea, this kind of plants are commonly having this stem thorn. If you come to the phylloclade, phylloclade is actually a stem which is modified into leaf-like structure, and obviously chlorophyll will be present within that specific leaf-like structure so that they can perform the photosynthesis, as well as they are containing nodes and internodes in a regular interval. So this is actually the type of the stem where the stem is modified into a leaf-like structure. That's why it is commonly known as phylloclade. Example is exclusively in case of opuntia, that is one kind of xerophytic plant. So for them this phylloclade structure can be found. If you go for the next specific modification or special modification of the stem, that is the cladode, and cladode is also a modified version of the phylloclade. Why I am saying like that? Because when the phylloclade is actually getting formed with 1 or 2 internode, on that time that structure is commonly known as cladode. As an example, in case of asparagus, in case of ruscus, this specific cladode structure can be found. Okay. Coming to the last small special modification of the stem, that is the bulbil. Keep it in your mind, we all know what is floral bud. Floral bud means that is a bud like structure from where the flower is arising. So in case of some of the plant, it is found that the flower is arising from which specific floral bud, that is getting modified and formed a swelled structure, and that obviously modified due to the deposition of the food or the storage of the food. So this is actually called as bulbil, which has been modified due to the food storage. Example is that agave. So these are the special type of the modification which can be found in case of flowering plant stem. You can see the figure here very clearly. This is the axillary bud which has formed the stem tendril and is obviously helping the plant for climbing purpose. This is the stem thorn, and obviously these thorns are also erupting from the axillary bud and helping the plant body to protect themselves from any kind of herbivorous animal. This is the phylloclade where the stem is getting modified into a foliar structure or the leaf-like structure or the leaf blade, and obviously this specific structure is performing the photosynthesis due to presence of the enough quantity of the chlorophyll, and this is the cladode, where you can say this is also the same like the phylloclade, where the stem is modified to form the structure of the leaf, but with that nodes and internode structures are also clearly present along the length of the stem. So that's why this specific structure is just a modification of the phylloclade, and this is called as cladode. And here you can see this is the modified version of the floral bud, and this is actually get modified due to the storage of the food, and this is commonly known as bulbil. So this is actually found in case of agave, and this is, you can see the figure. So whatever we have studied regarding the spatial modification of the stem, these are the figures from where we can understand properly the spatial modification. Now we have come to the last, that is the function of the stem. Obviously we all know this is holding all of the parts of the plant body, because if the stem will not be there, nothing is there in the plant body. That is the main system or the main part of the plant body. It is responsible for standing that plant straight, because any plant, when it is standing straight, that means obviously it is standing straight for the stem. Because if the stem is not straight or erect, obviously the plant cannot be straight or erect. It will be getting climber, okay, or creeper like. It is obviously responsible for the protection of the plant body, because obviously on the surface of the stem bark is present, sometimes so many thorns are also present. So obviously it is exclusively responsible for providing the protection to the plant body. So this is overall the shoot system or the stem about the from the plant structure. So I'm just completed the stem or the shoot system in this specific video. I think you have listened this video very carefully, and you have understood all of the points, all of the modifications, whatever I have told about the stem, and I think you have enjoyed this video a lot. Thank you everyone for watching this video. Thanks a lot.